everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in to another edition of MMTV's Chamber Chat. I'm the hostess of the show, Lauren Grimmick, and the Executive Director of the Melrose Chamber of Commerce. And this episode is taking us into our nonprofit community, and I am so excited to have Rebecca Mooney, who is the Executive Director of the Melrose Alliance Against Violence, also known as MAAV, in the community. So welcome, Rebecca.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
It's really great to chat with you. It's been a little while due to everything that's going on in the world, but certainly the pandemic has changed the way that you've worked, but has not slowed your work down at all, and we have a lot to chat about. So I will open up with my easy question and let you tell everyone watching, what is the Melrose Alliance Against Violence?
So we are a community-based nonprofit organization. We were formed almost 25 years ago now in response to a study by the League of Women Voters in Melrose, who discovered that domestic violence was a problem here in our community, just like any other community, and that people weren't aware of it, and they weren't aware of the resources for help. So they really wanted to do something. They didn't want to just put their study on a shelf. They wanted to actually do some action. So they formed the Melrose Alliance Against Violence. And the heart of the mission was to raise awareness and to connect victims with help. And that really remains the heart of our mission today, even though we've grown and evolved over the years.
So and that's incredible. I love hearing so many stories that, there are people in the community who saw a need, who, were motivated and felt empowered to get together and form, this organization. So, when it first began, was it, truly all volunteers?
Yeah, when it first started, what they did with their study was they went and they talked to the police department, the hospital, the clergy, parents, the business community, really with the idea that this problem is community-wide and there's no one group. They went back to those groups that they had talked to for the study and asked if they would like to be on the board of directors and really help form and launch this organization. So again, that is something that has remained steadfast throughout 25 years, as our board of directors is made up of all of those groups and more. And anything that we do, anything that we plan, we really think about how can it involve every aspect of the community.
Sure. And, you hit kind of like on a really great, what I think of as like an amazing thing that MAAV does is you actually do so much. I mean, you've got mentor programs, you're in the schools, you've got trainings. So, why don't you tell us, fast forward to the almost 25 years that MAAV has been around and tell, the community a little bit about some of those programs and the work that MAAV's been doing recently in the community.
Our key thing is helping victims, and we still do that. And we actually have a weekly support group that meets right now virtually, but lifeline for survivors. And I just want people to know that is still the heart of what we do is direct help to victims. But I would say 85% of our time and energy goes to prevention, because we just really believe strongly that if you can prevent this problem from happening before it starts, that is the best approach. So that's why we put so much time and energy into working with young people and educating them. So we start at the middle school, at the 8th grade level, with a program called Healthy Relationships. We go into every health class, and it's really just the very, basics of what is a healthy relationship, what is an abusive relationship, what are the early warning signs, how would you get help for yourself or a friend. And so it's really important to us that every student has that baseline education and knows resources for help. Then we also have a mentoring program, as you mentioned, and that is a program a little more intensive. It's a year long. Sometimes it actually goes over a year. In the past, it's been adults matched with middle school students. We are actually piloting right now a peer mentoring program where we're going to use some of our high school peer leaders to be matched with 6th grade students.
That's great.
And help them with that adjustment to middle school. But it's really just based on the idea that one caring person, whether it's a peer or an older student or an adult, a caring, consistent caring person can make a tremendous difference in a young person's life. Then at the high school level, we have what we call our student action board. And it's made up of 20 peer leaders, and then we do lots of training with them, lots of supervision, so that they can then become the educators with their peers. So they're trained on the issues, again, of teen dating violence, sexual assault, consent, and then they go into the 9th grade, it's called freshman seminar classes, and they lead sessions on these topics, very interactive sessions. We also have a program that we bring to the senior class, called Escalation, that depicts a college level relationship, very abusive relationship. So we take that opportunity when they're seniors to kind of remind them of the education and to say, you know, these are the things to look out for. But what we really emphasize in all of our programs is the role of bystanders, that it's really up to the people around them to recognize these warning signs, to recognize when an abusive relationship is forming, and to speak up and to say something and to direct people to resources for help. So in addition to all these sort of classroom presentations, we do all sorts of things like poster campaigns. We had something called the Red Flag campaign where students actually wrote warning signs on little red flags and those were displayed. So we're trying to create a culture, you know, that really just kind of permeates their days of saying, you know, this is okay, this is not okay. And
Right.
having our peer leaders carry that message makes all the difference. And they have great ideas. We listen to them. We really listen to them carefully and consult them. And everything we do at the high school level is through them, because they know what other students are going to respond to. And they also just are great leaders that have great ideas.
Sure. I mean, they can be, you know, true influencers, you know, not that, I mean, you and your board is made up of some incredible community leaders as well. You know, not that those folks, that you can't reach those students, but, you know, having, you know, someone who is their peer, you know, relaying that message in a way that just resonates with them, right, is really what you're trying to do. And I love that, you know, MAAV is not just something that, say, is introduced to students, you know, when they start middle school, and then you might never hear from MAAV again until you graduate. It's, you know, you've really done a great job of kind of building into the entire, you know, curriculums, you know, so that these, you know, our youth and then as they're becoming these young adults can, you know, hear the messaging, you know, be self-aware, you know, like you said, even becoming empowered, you know, and to help others. And I think that that's really incredible, because oftentimes, you know, a program gets one shot, you know, to come in and out of a school system or a college or something like that. And, you know, students sounds like have, you know, constant kind of exposure to information, the messaging and the knowledge that MAAV's trying to bring to them.
Yeah, I mean, one thing we always say is that you have to keep repeating things and doing things at different levels, because they are growing and changing and they take in information in different ways at different ages. I mean, when we do our healthy relationships program at the 8th grade level, you know, some might have had experience in relationships, some haven't, but then by high school, most kids have. So again, they're gonna maybe listen a little differently at that age. So yeah, that's one of our kind of approaches, is it has to be consistent. It has to be over time. It isn't just a one-shot deal. One thing I forgot to mention about the middle school level, we've also done a lot of work around preventing bullying. And even though that is not our primary focus, it is just very related to what we do. We see bullying as on the same continuum as domestic violence, because they are about relationships based on power and control. So we've done a lot of work on that issue, because that's a huge issue at the middle school level. It's a huge issue for children. So we've done a lot of work actually with our peer leaders. Again, that's our approach. The high school peer leaders are so close to that age. They remember exactly what it's like, and they are really motivated to try to make middle school better for these kids coming up. So we train them, they go down, they work with the students at the middle school to prevent bullying.
That's great. I mean, and that's just like another kind of small but like significant example of how, you know, MAAV has really evolved itself over the course of 25 years. And of course, 2020 is MAAV's, I don't know, is it birthday or anniversary, that we're calling it. And to add to all these other great programs that you're doing a lot to celebrate. So tell us a little bit about what we can expect to see to help MAAV celebrate this awesome milestone.
Sure. So like everybody else, we had all sorts of plans that we had to kind of go back to the drawing board and revise. You know, we had all sorts of in-person events we were going to hold, but we've tried to be creative and flexible, and, you know, we switched up to lots of virtual events and some social distance in-person events. One thing we're doing, we have a very active Facebook page, and that's thanks to our outreach coordinator, Leanne Cassavoy. We post probably 2, 3, 4 times a day. And so during the month of October, which is our anniversary, we're calling it 25 days to celebrate 25 years. So starting on October 1st, every day we will have something special. The very first day we have a video that we've made that's a retrospective video. We're hoping to have a guest, a special guest is sending in a video that we'll have on the first day. We'll have highlights from our history. We'll highlight different programs. We'll highlight special supporters of ours over the years. But every day for 25 days, we will touch on those kinds of things every day. So that's one thing. And then our Candlelight Vigil will be a little different this year. It will be, it'll go live on all of our social media channels, which are Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram, as well as being broadcast on MMTV on Sunday, October 18th at 4:00 p.m. But it will be held pretty much the same way we've done it in the past. We have 9 victims to commemorate. We'll read their names, light a candle, and rededicate ourselves to this work in their honor. We'll also have a song. So again, that will go live on October 18th. And then for the walk, instead of having everybody gather at the middle school as we usually do, and we love to do, this year we're going to say, look, just anytime over the weekend of October 24th and 25th, do the walk on your own or with a friend, with your family, with a small group, so that everybody stays safe. The route will stay the same. It basically goes from the middle school up Main Street through downtown Melrose and then around El Pond. We're asking people to register this year. We've never done that before, but because it's a little different, we thought it would be important. First of all, we just kind of want to know who's participating, but also when you register, you'll get a map of the route. And also just to kind of add interest this year, since people will be doing it on their own, we're doing a treasure hunt of 25 things to look for along the walk route.
Very fun.
So, not to give too much away, but just for example, there's going to be a mural outside of the Melrose Y that Follow Your Art is helping us with. It's kind of a participatory mural. There's going to be a mandala project in Cedar Park where people bring objects and add to it. I should have mentioned at the beginning that our theme is lighting the way together. So a lot of things we're doing tie in with that theme, and the mandala starts with a candle in the middle of a flame. So I don't know if people can see my button, but that's our little logo for lighting the way together. So that's how the walk will happen this year. And then let's see, we have our bracelets. We've done commemorative bracelets, I think 10 years in a row now. So those are being sold right now at Halo Studio, Beacon Hill Wine, and Miter Biter, as well as online through our website. And let's see, what else? Well, just a note on registration. There are different levels. People can just sign up and it's free. People can give a $25 donation and receive a special mask, which I just happened to get today.
I love that.
So again, our logo. At $50, you get a special 25th anniversary limited edition t-shirt as well as the mask. So I guess I just want to make the point, we really want to be cognizant of the fact that this is a difficult time for a lot of people. Some people have lost their jobs, some businesses are struggling. So, you know, we want to just appreciate the support that we've received over the years, and we understand if this is a year that you cannot donate. However, some people have not been so hurt by the pandemic and are able to give, and in that case, we are asking for your support, whether it's a sponsorship of the walk or registering. You know, this is a time when really more than ever, victims of domestic violence need our help and support and need resources out there. So it's not a time for us to slow down in any way. We need to keep getting the word out there and continue to help people that need help. So, but we're just so grateful for the support of the community over 25 years. You know, we get grants and other, you know, we do fundraisers, but it's really the support of the community. It's kind of the little people out there that have kept us going for 25 years. So we just really, really appreciate it.
Well, that's great. I mean, you definitely have a lot to celebrate in terms of all the work you've done, and it sounds like you're celebrating as best you can, considering the way of the world. And you know, you do have a great board. You've got lots of volunteers. You have all that incredible support, but you know, between yourself and of course Leanne, who you mentioned, I mean, you guys are the workhorses, and we're Melrose and the people who have participated in the programs, you know, are truly lucky to have MAAV in the community. So thank you for all that you do in order to make it all happen and bring it all together.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
So if you're just learning about MAAV for the first time, there's so much more that we could have covered in such a short period of time, but you can go online, you can call them up, you can certainly learn more about MAAV, and you can participate in so many ways, especially I think even more this year. If you've missed the walk the last couple of years, now's your chance to be able to participate and register. Or if you can't do that, get a bracelet. Holidays are around the corner, and that can make a nice commemorative gift for somebody. But this is one of the most important organizations in our community, so we're lucky to have MAAV, and we're lucky to have all of you who've been watching at home. So until next time, I'm Lauren Grimmick with Chamber Chat, and we'll see you again soon.